Welcome back, everybody. Hope all is well. I thought I'd do a quick video here doing an overview of my garden, because the last time I did an overview, like that was like the beginning. Now we're kind of hitting mid-stride, or I'm starting to pick stuff, and really, it's coming on, very well. The weather is the last day of July, and it's been very, very warm, and we've had not even 5 inches of rain this whole month, but we got it when we needed it. So, because some things were looking pretty bad. So, but I want to show you a couple things here. This side of the garden is the sweet peppers, and you don't need big plants to get big peppers. These are big Berthas, and sometimes they're pulling the plants over. They get so big, and so you got to keep an eye on them, because they'll break off stems, and that's not any good. But things are really popping now. We've got on this side we have poblanos, which are kind of intermittent hot for us, we call them, but it's on the sweet side. Melrose peppers, pepperoncinis. These are, I believe these are California Wonders, doing really well. The only thing, some of my tomatoes, I couldn't get the ones I wanted because everybody's planting tomatoes this year, and I couldn't get the ones I wanted, so I had to pick. I didn't start them. I learned that lesson, but now some of them aren't filling the wires up like they should. This variety is, but I've never gotten tomatoes. It's been about 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I got my first red tomato, and that's really early for me. It's not till August. And I picked some this morning, so they're going very well. So let's move on into the next thing. Like I was saying, I split my garden from this side's the hot peppers, and this is the sweet. That way, it's just easier. I don't know if they can cross pollinate. I don't, if that's some super hot stuff, and the other stuff seems lame. So you never know. But I'd like to just show you. We're going to start with the Carolina Reaper, which I still believe is the hottest pepper in the world. And for Illinois, we do all right. It's just, if I could get another month out of them, then I would have a lot more. But plants do well. It's just, they need a long, hot summer. Here's what they look like. They turn red when they're ripe, but they get kind of lumpy and actually like a little tail on them. They're brutal looking, and they are hot. They're called that for a reason. Over here I have the jumbo jalapenos. I ordered these. I got them from the nursery for years, and they never get big enough to stuff. And yeah, they're still good, but if you want big stuffers, I get them from Pepper Joe. I think they're out of South Carolina, and his seeds I've never had any problems with them. But these get really, really big, like 4 inches, and you can really, and these things you can put them in those little trays that hold them. Or you can, you can slice them in half, put them in the oven. I've seen people do that with them. But for the most part, a lot of these, they don't go to waste. I got a lot of friends that like them. I freeze them, I dry them. There's countless things you can do with these things. When people say, oh, I don't like hot stuff. Well, I learned a long time ago, like with the Reapers, I can't eat those. Even if I clean them out and put them on the grill, it's like someone stabbing me with a knife later on in the night. So what I do now is I dry them, and then I grind them up outside, of course, and then I use the dust. I put that in a salt shaker with smoked sea salt, and I call it a salt. And if you like hot salt, it gives you just enough flavor. So you gotta watch people. They don't grab by mistake, but it is really good, and it gives you just enough heat. It is very flavorful. It's just not solid burn, but it does do a really good job. And a lot of these peppers, I have some cherry bombs over here. Those are good for stuffing also. They're little red ones. They make really good. I make a lot of sauce. A guy at work, I got a sauce recipe from her finally, and the stuff is just awesome. So it's not hard to do. You can freeze them. You can dry them. Rehydrate them in the middle of winter to make sauce. I've been doing that early on before I got peppers on. So lots of things you can do with them. Don't be afraid of them. On this end of the garden, these peppers are macho nacho, as they call them, and I started growing these a few years back, and for what you put into them, you get back tenfold. I mean, we consider them sweet, or sweeter. They're not hot, so and they're thin walled. You can actually stuff these too, because they get huge on here if you let them go. But you can pick them all year. These plants will probably get about this tall by the end of the season, and they're just phenomenal. And what we do a lot with them is we treat them as a sweet pepper. We cut them up. We'll pick a whole bunch. We'll cut them up and put them in gallon Ziploc freezer bags and freeze them. So, people say, oh, you got to put on a cookie sheet. Well, they all freeze anyways. It doesn't matter. You just pound off a block what you want when you're cooking, and you're good. But these things are actually really very prolific, and they're a good pepper, and you can do a lot with them. All right, over here is where I put a lot of beans in, which add nitrogen to the soil. That's why they start doing soybeans, the commercial guys. But and it had a really good year. These are just regular bush beans. We just picked a huge grocery bag full the other day. Just and it's only about 12 feet long. I started these are also bush beans, but I staggered them by 2 weeks, which I always heard people say to do, and it does work, but they are catching up fast. So sometimes, maybe even 3 weeks I should have gone. And these ones in the middle, my daughter brought me these from Europe when she worked last year there, and they're purple, and they're quite flavorful. They do turn green if you steam them, but they look good in a salad. But these came out really early and have done really well. So I'm going to save some of these and replant them. And their stuff's non-GMO over there in Europe. So, and then last but not least, these are pole beans. And once again, it's on a calf fence. You can see, one calf fence, 2 T-posts, and that's it. And you can see, I can reach 8 foot tall, so that's about as far as I want to reach for a bean. So, and these are my dad's favorites. My brother likes these. It's like light beer, less filling, tastes great debate. So I do them both for both the guys. It keeps everybody happy. Also, be creative with the calf fence. I laid it horizontal because these don't climb that high, or they usually don't. These are black-eyed peas, and people say, well, why do those? They're great because they mature real slow. You can pick them, a handful every other day. I save them in a tray, and then when they're all done, I take them, put them in a pillowcase. I saw this on YouTube, and you just step on them and crush them, and plus put them in a glass jar. It lasts forever. That's a good winter thing. Cajuns believe in eating Hoppin' John and New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, I'm sorry. It must bring good luck all day. I can't say I've had bad luck, but so. Also, another use for calf fence is planting cucumbers on it. I planted seeds on this side, and my neighbor gave me a couple plants, Cody, on this side, and now they've spread out everywhere, but at least I got some of them contained on here. And I picked a whole basket full this morning. So that's kind of the outlay of this part of the garden, and doing well. Hope yours is too. All right, on this side, a lot of my cold weather stuff I put in first. Right in front of me is where all my onions were, which I pulled all out. They did all right. I just thought they'd do better, but they still did pretty good. I took them all out. I'm curing them in my garage. I'm still learning things. So, but down here, had a pretty good year for cauliflower. As you can see, I think it's pretty good. I picked about 3 or 4 of them already. And what you can do is you can tie, this one I tied the leaves up. I just cut it off the other day, and it does keep it a whiter color. If that bothers you, the one behind it, you can't really see, but got kind of more of a yellow tinge to it. It all tastes the same. With the broccoli now, once you cut off the initial crown, like you see in the store, you know, you don't cut the plant to pull a plant up. You leave it alone, because all of a sudden, all these will start, and you can pick these until the frost kills them. And actually, that's more of a manageable size for most people when they're making stuff. You can go out and just pick, you know, half a dozen flowerets. That's all you need. All right, back here, I have my cabbage. Usually I try to keep them really close together so the leaves overlap each other, and it keeps the weeds out. The ducks like to get in here too and peck at stuff. But I've only seen this one place, and I retained it, luckily. Once you cut ahead, I cut this the other day, this red cabbage, don't pull the whole plant up again, leave it. And all of a sudden, it will start producing all these little heads, but maybe like 11-inch softball size. And that's sometimes the perfect size you need, because sometimes the whole head's too much. You split in half of it, and you're not using it. But don't pull the plant up. Just cut it off with a knife. I like a hook bill knife, like a linoleum knife, and it takes them right off, and the plant doesn't hurt it, and keep producing more. All right, so that wraps it up. Kind of a short overview, but this is, as I said, beginning of August, and I'm trying to get to see not just, you know, so I'm putting the plants in the ground to the end. You know, I want you to see the progression, and you know, after this video, I'm going to mow now, and I got to spread more grass to keep the weeds down. So I'm trying to keep everybody up so it's not, you know, start to finish. You know, I mean, there's just trials and tribulations and everything. Some things work out, some don't. So, and I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're, you know, hopefully this helps you in some way. Because I said, you know, I learned from other people. I found things for myself. So, you know, let's learn together. All right, folks? Stay dirty, my friends.